guest has made a career of finding the right brand and identity for small businesses and is an expert on connecting with customers. Please welcome to the Microsoft Small Business Summit, Mr. Scott Montgomery. Ah! The audience is roaring their approval.
Yes.
Yes, great to have you here, Scott.
Hey,
have a seat. So, how are you doing today?
We are weird. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, you are weird. Me too. That's why we're going to do a great interview together.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to talk about branding because it's so important for small business owners to find a unique way to stand out from the rest. That's what branding is, really.
Yeah, and to look bigger than everyone else or better than everyone else that
Right.
you do, that you compete against. Yeah.
Right. So, what do small business owners like myself need to know about branding?
Just that a lot of times your customers need to know have a very clear picture in their head of what they can expect from you. Good things, what will help them do their business better. And a lot of times what a brand does is encapsulate that into a real easy to understand sort of nugget that they can deal with.
So, tell me a little bit about your agency.
Well, we are interesting because we are also a small business, but we've been, and we work with a lot of other small businesses in the Midwest, but we also are lucky because we work with really big companies too, big bank, big music, television network, things like that. So we do a little of everything. So we kind of have both ends of that.
So, you're a small business. How many employees?
Yeah, like 25.
25
Yeah.
people, so kind of right in the mid-range of small businesses. And you then certainly must understand what we go through as a small business trying to develop a brand.
And get heard. I mean, and that's the main thing right now, and you've probably heard it all day today, is the difficulty that small businesses have in using sort of traditional media, traditional advertising, traditional stuff to get enough traction to get people to know that they exist. It's real tough. And now that media is so spread out, there's so many different things, so many different ways, it's both an opportunity and a challenge because a small business can often not spend enough money the way a big company can to really get that critical mass out there and say, hey, this really is a going concern, please buy from me.
Right. I'm pretty much a very small company. I do my own marketing promotion. It's like but how do we know when we need to do it on our own and when we need to hire somebody? Let's talk about doing it on our own first.
Doing it on your own is good. There's a lot of, I'm supposed to say, buy from me, but no.
Yeah.
Doing it on your own is a lot more possible now because if you go ahead and say that part of what branding is to make you look credible, make you look bigger than you are, better than you are, there's a lot of things like templating and a lot of tools, like Office Live is a great one.
Right, Chris was talking about how easy it is to set up his own website through Microsoft Office Live.
And you can do a lot now, and especially you can have even logos and things like that can help to identify you. You can get done at a fraction of what they used to cost a big company to get done.
So when do you know you need to hire an agency then?
If you don't have, if you run out of time to run your own business and you want some expertise and you want to move to the next level, certain businesses benefit more from it than others. Clearly, I think that a big thing is to either have someone under your own roof who is committed, who is part of their job, part of their everyday life to help make your business famous for something, and whether that person is the owner of the company. Sometimes if they're really engaged and they can do that, I think that usually is the best because they have the best vision. I know if they've hired me, I often like to talk to that person because they're the ones with the passion. They're the ones that can make a decision. But if that person is so engaged in running their business that it's difficult to put time into marketing, they need to assign it to someone or have that person who they've assigned it to, call guys like me.
All right, so you have your website up that you did through Microsoft Office
Absolutely.
Live, and you've done some marketing yourself and PR. Okay, so now you need to hire an agency. How do you choose? I mean, are there certain types of agencies that are better for a small business than others?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, one of the things that's great about small businesses is that there are a lot of agency small businesses, and there are businesses that are really hungry to make their name, and that can help you make your name as a small business. The danger there to look out for is that sometimes they won't have all the resources that you need to get things promoted as much. They may be very creative, or they may have a certain niche, or they may be able to do one thing out of 50 that you need to do to really communicate that your business is a going concern. Whereas a big agency has all those tools, but you might not be able to afford them, nor may you be their biggest client, and they may not be able to give you as much of their attention as you'd like them to give you. So one of the best things is if you see someone that has left a big agency to start a small agency, that's usually a good thing because they're going to come with a lot of that expertise, and but they're going to come hungry.
Right, and they've got the big, like you said, the big agency expertise, and they can come start their own company. They'd be willing to like work hard for you. So do you need to give them the directive of how to start, or does that come from the agency?
You know, it depends. A lot of times, certain kinds of agencies do. They're able to like look at all of the things affecting your business in the world and come up with an idea that you may never have thought of that may be really cost effective or unique or innovative. They may be the people that may be able to see what you can't see because you're too close to everything. On the other hand, sometimes it's pretty clear, look, I'm famous for making this thing. How can you continue to make me more famous to the right people for making this thing or doing this thing or having this service? So it's usually a good dialogue. It's never just one way or the other, almost ever.
Now, the great thing about us being live right now is that people can
Absolutely.
email or call us in with their own questions. Free advice. How often do you get that? Okay, so for Scott, I have an email from Sherry from Connecticut. Listening in Connecticut, that's wonderful. She says, I'm a new company with a very small budget. How do I start branding my company name?
I think a big thing is to be consistent in everything that you do. I mean, I don't think you necessarily need to have always go out and first thing you do get your logo designed or something like that. I mean, even though that's
really that's not the. I mean,
not necessarily.
You have to look down to start.
No, because I mean sometimes it's better like if I don't know what kind of business this is, but if like it's easier to say, okay, all my trucks are pink. And you go out into the world, and every place that someone sees you, you're very consistent. And so you become famous for being the person that does deliveries in the pink trucks. That's kind of branding. And sometimes just being as consistent as you can in as many places as you can really help.
All right, thank you, Sherry, for your email, and we're taking calls as well. All the information is there on your screen as you're sitting there at home, all relaxed. Just give us a call. Tom, is there anything about agencies that small business owners need to be wary of?
Yeah, sure. I mean, they're a lot of times, especially if they're very media driven, they make money by spending your money, and it's just the truth. But if you get the right agency, they want to do the right thing. It's not just sort of a mark up the media business. It can be a benefit. And in some situations, like we're willing to even work with a company that is small, where we see a lot of upside, a lot of potential, to be kind of part of that growth, and that it actually benefits us to help that company grow because we're paid more on the backside. If you have a large agency that is, or even a medium-sized agency, where the big deal for them is to just churn and make money off of you, they're going to spend money, they're going to spend your money until there's none left, and then you may get a lot of benefit out of it, but they will get a lot of benefit out of it too.
Right. Our producer just said something to me. Could you repeat that to me one more time real quickly? All right. He says, never mind. You must have answered his question already. He had a question for you. All right. I have another one. What's the best piece of advice you can tell a small business owner about branding? One little nugget that people really need to listen to.
Be famous for something. Decide that you are going to be, that your customers understand very clearly what it is that they can get. And if that happens through your brochure, your graphic design, your television ad if you want to, your web presence, how you're known when people blog about you, what you look like or sound like in social networks, all of that stuff. If you are very, very consistent and you are famous for doing one thing really, really well, that's what a brand is.
So you have to really work on really doing that very well. You have to make sure you're doing it right.
You got to pay it off, for sure.
Exactly. All right, so what mistakes typically do small businesses make when it comes to their promotion? We already mentioned one about, buying too much media, or you spend too much. Yeah, they just forget to do it.
That's kind of the main thing. But they get scattered. I think that a lot of times they will say, okay, I bought my phone directory ad, and now I'm done, and that's all I need to do, and now maybe I'll put my logo on a hat or something like that, and that's never enough, and that's why I think, as we said earlier, I think getting someone to really connect to being that marketing driver says I'm going to be the person who's going to make sure that every day I'm thinking about how I'm making my business famous, and then always looking for the opportunities. Where are my customers really, really looking? And where can we surprise them? Not just where they happen to be, but where can we be surprising? One thing that we did that was kind of interesting, that was extraordinarily cheap for one of our clients, it's a small home builder. And you know, home building market's terrible right now. I mean,
Well,
isn't
sure,
it?
and there's a lot of people doing it too.
Oh yeah, but they wanted us to try and get people into their model homes, yeah, in December when it's really ugly and nasty, and people don't usually go and do that. So and you couldn't buy billboards because all of the retailers for Christmas, you know, were buying all that media. So what we did is we actually went to Christmas tree farms where people would be with their families, and we bought a Christmas tree farm and we put promotional keys on it and decorated it. And if you picked up this key, then you could go to the model home and get a gift certificate. And we drove traffic by turning that Christmas tree into a piece of media. And the great thing, it was inexpensive because the Christmas tree farmer didn't care. It's like, well, you just buy me a tree, you know, that'll do. So that's how we, you know, we did things like that, try to get in front of the customer in places where they don't expect us to be. And that drove a lot of traffic to the model.
So that was a nice cheap idea. Is there a budget we should set though at the beginning of every year and say I'm going to spend this much on advertising and promotion, set that money aside for that?
I think that there used to be a model for that. We used to say back in the 90s, we used to say, you know, you should plow 5-10% of your sales back into advertising. And you know, is it a rule of thumb? Maybe, but really businesses, especially small ones, that is probably, in terms of dollars, it's not enough to really do anything. But in terms of effort, if you're looking at where your customers are talking about your product or willing to, or having opinions about your product, you can plow, in a sense, less money into advertising, but you're getting more connection with your customers through these interactions and having those customers talk to each other, having those customers can't wait to tell somebody else about what they got from you, and really helping to use social networks, use blogging, use even online campaigns that you can, you know, even keyword search campaigns, things like that, and use them smart so that you are helping to activate people talking about you. You know, we were just talking in the green room. One of the biggest things for my company is we pretended to hack our own website. Is we just decided our website needed to be updated, and as opposed to having the little website under construction, little guy digging you've seen like that.
Right.
Instead of doing that, we said, well, it's going to take us some weeks to redo our website so it reflects our business. Why don't we just pretend like a little girl hacked it? And so we put like all sorts of stuff on it that like she, until she got a pony, this website was hacked, and we got people to write about that. We didn't even know we were doing it, but we were virally marketing ourselves without kind of even knowing it. So, oh my gosh, your site's been hacked. No, we did it. So,
pretty innovative.
Yeah, it was
You've
exciting.
got some great ideas. Thank
right.
you, Scott Montgomery, for being here with us.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much. If you'd like more information on this, just log on to sbssummit.com/guest.